can now pay $8 a month to get verified on Twitter. And Stephen King, yes, that's Stephen King, the author, is very upset. He's been tweeting at Elon several times a day, every day, instead of writing new books. And I get the funny headlines, world's richest man asks Stephen King for $8. I'm like, why? Can we not flip this? Why is $8 a month a big deal to Stephen King? I'll tell you, it's not a big deal. The money isn't why the Stephen Kings and the AOCs and the New York Times and Washington Post journalists are upset about having to pay for maybe the journalists because they don't make any money, and rightfully so. But that's not why they're upset about having to pay to get verified on Twitter. They're upset because now the plebs can afford to join their super secret club. Very small price to pay. They could join your club. And Twitter has a separate category in your mentions for verified users, right? So if you're verified, you pop up whenever you tweet at them. So now AOC actually has to listen to her constituents, and she's very upset about that. Very upset that she has to listen to the people that voted her into office. They're not worried about free speech. That's not the concern. They say that the unfettered free speech is a threat to our democracy. That's the new Stay Home, Save Lives, right? They say that's a threat to our democracy and all that. It's not the free speech they're concerned about. The Biden administration posted on Twitter last week. They said, this is the biggest bump in monthly Social Security earnings in the history of this country. Well, Twitter fact-checked them. This wouldn't have happened 5 months ago. Twitter fact-checked them thanks to Elon Musk. It was the biggest bump in Social Security in the history of this country because in the 70s, President Nixon, 70s or 60s, I don't remember, President Nixon signed a bill into law that said Social Security has to raise at the same rate as inflation. So it was actually a self-own. It's the biggest bump in Social Security ever because it's the biggest bump in inflation ever because of their terrible policies. And they took it down because they got destroyed. And now they're out talking about, Elon's got ties to foreign countries that we're concerned about. Yeah, they're not worried about people spreading misinformation. They're worried about their misinformation being called out or their half-truths. They're not worried about free speech. They're worried about you being able to combat their propaganda and counter it with facts of your own. Right? Like last week, they were, because AOC had some issue with her Twitter, and she went on a rant on Instagram, eating chicken wings while she was doing it. Why couldn't you have waited till you finished eating, right? But she went on this rant about how her Twitter account had been supposedly censored. It's funny because 2 weeks ago, they were cheering on the censorship of their political rivals like Kanye West and Kyrie Irving, saying that they were with our democracy. Right? Now all of a sudden you're supposed to feel bad for them when now that the shoe's on the other foot. No, piss off. These people would shut you down, take away your livelihood, ruin your reputation, and put your family out on the street in a heartbeat for telling a joke that they didn't like, that they felt was offensive. And now I'm supposed to feel sorry because they have to listen to the plebs on Twitter. Piss off. Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked what you saw, be sure to click the link in the description to get the full episode on Rumble. If you prefer to listen along, you could actually get us on Spotify, Spreaker, and iHeartRadio. You can also go to www.outlawstreamers.com to learn more about not just my show, but tons of other great shows and all the exciting projects they have coming up. Follow my socials at Caleb Isn't Funny on Twitter and Instagram, at Caleb Salvatore Comedy on the Chinese Spy app that is TikTok, and be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thanks, and we'll see you every Saturday for brand new episodes of That's Based. Peace.